The first time I saw a human break another human without even touching them, I was standing in what they call a university classroom. Now before you judge my life choices, let me explain. I am Vrixel 9, a Quelarian anthropologist, and studying humans had seemed like a perfectly safe career decision. After all, they are just primates who figured out space travel. How dangerous could that be? Spoiler alert, very dangerous. The classroom smelled like what humans call coffee, mixed with something they refer to as desperation. I had been observing their educational rituals for 3 weeks, carefully documenting their bizarre customs, taking notes, drinking their terrible beverages, pretending I understood why they found cylindrical bread products with holes in the middle so emotionally important. But this particular morning, everything changed. Her name was Marina Kovacs. Dark hair pulled back in what humans call a no-nonsense bun, which I learned means she has abandoned all nonsense permanently. She sat in the third row, surrounded by data tablets and ancient paper books that humans refuse to abandon despite having perfectly good holographic technology. She wore simple clothing, black shirt, grey pants, nothing remarkable. Except her eyes. Those eyes looked like they could calculate your molecular composition and find you disappointing. The other human, his name was Derek Pullman, sat 2 rows behind her, large by human standards, muscular in that way humans get when they repeatedly lift heavy objects for no apparent survival reason. His face held what my xenopsychology training identified as unearned confidence. He had been, as humans say, talking trash for the entire semester, making comments, interrupting lectures, questioning every female student's competence with the kind of consistency that suggested it was recreational for him. Professor Williams, a patient human with graying hair and tired eyes, was mid-sentence about quantum field theory when Derek decided to contribute his thoughts to the academic discourse. Yeah, but that equation doesn't account for temporal displacement ratios, he announced, leaning back in his chair like he had just solved the universe. Except he was completely wrong. Embarrassingly wrong. The kind of wrong that makes other species question human spacefaring credentials. Professor Williams paused, blinked twice. Actually, Derek, the Hartman-Klein coefficient specifically addresses that in the third variable. Perhaps if you had done the reading. Maybe the textbook's outdated, Derek interrupted, grinning at his friends. I mean, no offense, but some of this stuff seems pretty basic. I've been working through some advanced theories on my own. I noticed Marina's pen stopped moving. Just stop, mid-word. Her head tilted exactly 15 degrees to the left. The temperature in the room seemed to drop, though that might have been my imagination. Working through advanced theories, Marina said quietly, not turning around. Fascinating. Her voice was calm, too calm. Humans have this thing where the quieter they get, the more danger you are in. My survival instincts, honed through millennia of Quelarian evolution, started screaming at me to find an exit. Derek, possessing none of these instincts, laughed. Something funny back there, Marina? She turned around slowly, so slowly, just wondering which advanced theories you mean. The ones where you confused quantum entanglement with quantum tunneling in last week's discussion board, or the ones where you cited a paper that was retracted for mathematical errors in 2087. I am genuinely curious about your methodology. The classroom went silent. That special kind of human silence that precedes either violence or humiliation, sometimes both. Derek's face changed colors. Humans do this when their circulatory system betrays their emotional state. Red, then redder. I don't need some teacher's pet telling me what I got wrong. Teacher's pet, Marina repeated, as if testing the words. Interesting assessment. Tell me, Derek, do you consider everyone who does the assigned work a teacher's pet, or just the women? Oh no. Oh no. I had read about this. This was what humans call throwing down the gauntlet. A challenge, a verbal declaration of war. Professor Williams tried to intervene. Perhaps we should all take a breath and... No, Professor, I would like to hear Derek's answer, Marina interrupted, standing up. She was not tall, maybe 170 centimeters. Derek was easily 195 centimeters. None of that mattered. Size means nothing when one human decides another human needs educational correction. I don't have a problem with women, Derek said, sitting up straighter. I have a problem with people who act like they know everything. Fascinating hypothesis, Marina said, pulling out her data tablet. Let me test it. Last month, when Marcus questioned your interpretation of the Schrödinger field modifications, you called it a fair point and you two had a reasonable discussion. 2 weeks ago, When Jennifer suggested your calculation method had flaws, you told her she should stick to liberal arts. Yesterday, when Professor Williams herself corrected your understanding of probability matrices, you implied the curriculum was outdated. See a pattern, or should I create a visual aid? Derek stood up. Big mistake. Never stand up during a human intellectual confrontation unless you are absolutely certain you can win. You don't know what you are talking about. Really, Marina said, tapping her tablet. Because I have here your midterm exam, the one where you scored 68%. I scored 97. I lost points for not showing enough work on problem 14, which I solved correctly using a shorter method that the professor hadn't seen before. Your answers on questions 3, 7 and 11 weren't just wrong, they were physically impossible. You suggested a particle could exist in negative probability. Negative. Someone in the back row laughed, then caught themselves. That was a typo, Derek said, voice rising. A typo, Marina nodded seriously. Of course, and when you claimed Einstein was wrong about relativity in your discussion post, that was also a typo. Bold choice, misspelling an entire paragraph of confidently incorrect physics. I was frantically taking notes. This was spectacular. Humans call this academic murder, and it is apparently legal in their society. Derek pointed at her. Aggressive human gesture. Very aggressive. You think you are so smart, don't you? No, Marina said simply. I think I am adequately educated and appropriately confident in my knowledge base. You, however, think you are smart while simultaneously demonstrating that you are not. That is a much more interesting psychological phenomenon. There are studies about it, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Would you like me to explain it, or would you prefer to continue providing examples? The classroom erupted, not with words, with that human thing called trying not to laugh so hard you cry. Multiple students had their hands over their mouths. Several were shaking. One girl in the front row had tears streaming down her face. Derek's face reached a shade of red. I had never seen in nature. You can't talk to me like that. I literally just did, Marina pointed out. Unless you are suggesting I am hallucinating this entire interaction, in which case we have larger problems. Should I call campus health services, or would you like to continue this fascinating demonstration of ego defense mechanisms? Professor Williams had given up on maintaining order. He was leaning against his desk, watching with what humans call barely contained glee. This is, Derek struggled for words. Complete, thorough, well documented, Marina offered helpfully. I have adjectives if you need them. Your vocabulary seemed limited in your last essay. 12 unique descriptive words across 3,000 words is statistically impressive in the wrong direction. Derek grabbed his bag. I don't have to listen to this. No, you don't, Marina agreed. Free will and all that. You can leave, you can stay. You can continue pretending your mediocre understanding of physics makes you superior to people who actually study. All valid choices. But if you stay and continue interrupting class with incorrect information delivered with unearned confidence, I will continue correcting you with sources and citations and possibly interpretive graphs if I am feeling creative. He stared at her. She stared back. No emotion, just facts and the willingness to use them as weapons. Derek turned and walked toward the door. But human pride is a funny thing. It makes them do stupid things. He paused, turned back. You know what your problem is? You are just angry nobody likes you. Marina smiled. Actually smiled. Humans have different smiles. This one was the dangerous kind. Derek. Last month I published a paper on quantum state manipulation that has been cited 47 times. I have 3 internship offers from institutions you couldn't get into with a forged application. My problem isn't that nobody likes me. My problem is that you exist in the same educational institution where I am trying to work, and your confident incompetence is taking up space that could be occupied by literally anything more useful. A potted plant would contribute more to classroom discourse. At least plants produce oxygen. He left, actually left. The door closed behind him with a satisfying human-designed mechanism that made a firm clicking sound. The classroom sat in stunned silence for exactly 4 seconds. Then everyone started talking at once, laughing. Some were recording, making those moving pictures humans share on their social networks. Marina sat back down, picked up her pen, resumed taking notes as if nothing had happened. I sat there, all 3 of my hearts beating irregularly, staring at this human who had just verbally dismantled another human using nothing but facts, sarcasm, and perfect timing. This was not in my training manual. Human conflicts, I had been taught, involved physical violence or legal procedures. Nobody mentioned that humans could destroy each other with just words and properly maintained academic records. Professor Williams cleared his throat. Well, shall we continue with quantum field theory? The class settled down. Mostly, Marina's friend Alex leaned over and whispered something. Marina shrugged, just shrugged, like she had just asked someone to pass the salt, not performed what my species would consider a social execution. I needed to update my files, immediately. Humans were far more dangerous than previously documented, and Marina Kovacs had just become my primary research subject. The aftermath of what humans call the incident spread through the university faster than a plasma fire through an oxygen-rich environment. Within 2 hours, 3 different video recordings appeared on human social networks. Within 4 hours, it had 50,000 views. Within 6 hours, someone had created what humans call memes, which are apparently culturally significant image macros that spread information through humor instead of logical data transmission. Inefficient but effective. I found Marina in the library 3 days later. She was alone, surrounded by holographic displays and actual paper books because humans are stubborn about their physical media. Her fingers moved across a tablet, occasionally stopping to write notes in an actual notebook with an actual pen. Barbaric. I loved it. May I sit? I asked, using my carefully practiced human courtesy protocols. She looked up, studied me for 2.3 seconds. You are the Quelarian observer. Vrixel, 9. You sit in the back corner of advanced quantum mechanics and you drink tea instead of coffee because caffeine affects your species differently. You also take notes on a crystalline. Wait, no, sorry. She caught herself. You take notes on a transparent data slate that looks really cool, and I want one. I sat down before my leg joints gave out from surprise. You noticed me. You are 7 feet tall with bioluminescent skin patterns, she said reasonably. You are hard to miss. Also, you are the only person who writes during Professor Williams's terrible jokes. You are documenting them, right? For anthropological purposes. They are not actually jokes, I asked, confused. They are technically jokes, Marina confirmed. Just very bad ones. Dad jokes, we call them. Humor designed to make you groan instead of laugh. It is a whole category. This human continued to surprise me. I wanted to ask you about what happened with Derek. Her expression did not change. Which part? The part where he spent 12 weeks interrupting every woman in class, or the part where I finally got tired of it? The part where you destroyed his entire self-concept using only facts and observation, I clarified. She laughed, actually laughed. The sound was pleasant. I did not destroy anything, I just held up a mirror. If he did not like what he saw, that is a him problem, not a me problem. But you planned it, I said, pulling out my slate. The way you had his test scores, the citation counts, the specific examples, that was preparation. Oh, absolutely, Marina agreed cheerfully. I have been documenting his behavior since week 2. Every interruption, every condescending comment, every time he explained something to a woman that she already knew better than him. I knew eventually he would push too far, and I wanted to be ready. That is slightly terrifying, I admitted. Is it? She tilted her head, genuinely curious. I thought it was just being thorough. My mum is a lawyer. She taught me that if you are going to call someone out, you better have receipts. That means evidence, she added, seeing my confusion. Documentation. Proof. I made a note. Human females often receive tactical training from their maternal units. Fascinating. Did you know you would humiliate him that badly? I asked. Marina considered this. I knew he would humiliate himself. I just provided the platform. See, people like Derek, they think confidence equals competence. They have been rewarded their whole lives for being tall, loud, and male. Nobody ever made them back up their claims, so they develop this bubble where they are always right, and everyone else is just jealous or wrong or too emotional. And you popped the bubble. I applied pressure to a structurally unsound surface, she corrected with a small smile. The bubble popped itself. I just pointed out that it was happening. A human male approached our table. Tall, athletic, carrying what humans call a sports equipment bag. He nodded at Marina. That thing you did to Derek? Legendary. Absolutely legendary. Thanks, Kyle, Marina said absently, already turning back to her work. Kyle hesitated. Hey, some of us are wondering, did you really publish a paper that got 47 citations? 52 now, Marina said without looking up. Last I checked. Kyle's eyes widened. That is insane. We are undergrads. How did you even— I worked hard, Marina said simply. I read everything I could find. I asked good questions. I found a professor who liked my ideas. I wrote and rewrote again. It is not magic, Kyle. It is just work. He left looking thoughtful. I watched him go, then turned back to Marina. Does this happen often? People asking you questions? Since the Derek thing? Yes, she sighed. Everyone wants to know how I did it. But here is the thing. Vrix 9. I should not have had to do it at all. Explain. She put down her pen, gave me her full attention. Derek is not special. He is not some rare bad person. He is what happens when society tells boys they are smart and tells girls they are pretty. He was never taught to question himself, never taught that being wrong is how you learn, never taught that confidence without competence is just arrogance. So he got to university thinking he was brilliant, and when reality said otherwise, he decided reality was wrong. And the females in your species face this often? Not just females, Marina corrected. Anyone who does not fit the default setting. Derek thinks he is better than me because I am a woman. He would think the same about you because you are not human, about Marcus because Marcus is gay, about Jennifer because she is from what we call a developing nation. Derek has a hierarchy in his head where he is at the top, and he did not put himself there. Society did. I just knocked him down a few levels. I processed this. Your species is complicated. Our species is a mess, Marina agreed, but we are working on it. Slowly, very slowly, sometimes one public humiliation at a time. My communicator vibrated. A message from my research supervisor. I need to file a report about human conflict resolution, I said. May I include what happened? Sure, Marina shrugged. Just make sure you include the context. Derek was not a victim. He was a consequence that finally caught up with someone's actions. I stood to leave, then paused. One more question. When he said nobody likes you, did that hurt? Marina smiled. That same dangerous smile from the classroom. Vrixel 9. I do not need everyone to like me. I need to be good at what I do. Likability is a popularity contest. Competence is a survival skill. I know which one matters. I left the library with 47 pages of notes and a completely revised understanding of human social dynamics. The next week, Derek transferred to a different section of the course, then transferred to a different major, then transferred to a different university. Humans call this voting with your feet, which makes no sense because feet do not vote. But I understood the concept. He could not handle being in the same educational space as someone who had seen through him completely. Marina continued her work, published another paper, got accepted to a graduate program that only took 5 students per year, won an award for academic excellence. I attended the award ceremony, watched her accept a plaque with her name on it. She gave a short speech about the importance of thorough research and supporting evidence. She did not mention Derek once. She did not need to. After the ceremony, I approached her one final time. I am returning to my homeworld next month. My research period is complete. Congratulations, Marina said warmly. What will your report say about humans? I considered my words carefully. That you are a species of contradictions, brilliant and foolish, kind and cruel, that you can destroy each other with words as easily as weapons, that your females are significantly more dangerous than your males when provoked with stupidity, and that anyone who underestimates a human with access to data and a sense of justice is making a fatal error. Marina laughed. That same pleasant sound. That seems fair. What will you tell them about me specifically? That I met a human who broke another human's pride using only facts, patience, and perfect timing. That she did it not for revenge but for principle. That she is exactly the kind of human your species needs more of. And the kind we need less of? Marina asked. That would be Derek, I said. But I suspect your species is already figuring that out. She extended her hand. Human greeting ritual. I took it carefully. Her grip was firm, confident, exactly what I expected. Good luck out there, Vrixel 9, she said. And if you ever need a human perspective on anything, look me up. I will probably be here buried in research, correcting someone who is confidently wrong. I left Earth 3 weeks later. My reports became required reading for any Quelarian studying human behavior. That section about Marina got highlighted, referenced, cited in other studies. Humans, we now teach our anthropology students, are not to be underestimated, especially the quiet ones with notebooks and data tablets. especially the ones who smile when challenged, especially the ones who prefer facts to feelings and evidence to ego, and especially the ones named Marina Kovacs, who decide that today is the day someone learns a lesson about humility. I heard later that Derek did eventually graduate. Different school, different major, something with less math, less science, less Marina. Good for him, honestly. Some lessons you learn in a classroom. Others, you learn when a 170-centimeter human female calmly and systematically disassembles your entire worldview using proper citations and 12 weeks of documented evidence. I never forgot that day. The day I learned that the most dangerous thing in the universe is not a weapon or a warship or even a black hole. It is a human who has decided you are wrong and has the receipts to prove it. Marina was right about one thing. Likability is a popularity contest. But competence is how you survive a universe full of confidently incorrect people. And if you cross someone who has both competence and documentation, well, that is when you learn why humans call it academic murder and why nobody picks a fight in Marina's class anymore. The floor of Derek's pride, still broken, last I heard. And Marina, she just kept building. One paper, one achievement, one perfectly executed correction at a time. That is humanity for you. Terrifying, impressive, absolutely worth studying. Just maybe do not make them angry.